Throughout military aviation history, specialized aircraft have been designed to counter enemy armor. In the Cold War era, the need for an effective anti-armor aircraft resurfaced. The Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II, commonly known as the Warthog, was designed in the 1970s. Basically, the A-10 was built around the massive GAU-8A Avenger 30mm rotary cannon, one of the most powerful aircraft cannons ever flown, which could shred tanks with armor-piercing depleted uranium rounds. The A-10's cannon fired at a staggering 3,900 rounds per minute, ensuring multiple hits on a target in a single pass. The cannon takes about a half second to spin up to its maximum rate of fire, firing 50 rounds during the first second and 70 rounds per second thereafter. It is accurate enough to place 80% of its shots within a 12-meter diameter circle from 4,000 feet while in flight. With its high-mounted engines and titanium bathtube cockpit armor, the A-10 is designed to withstand heavy damage and still return safely. Additionally, the aircraft can carry a variety of air-to-ground munitions, making it a versatile and lethal battlefield asset. The basic concept of this aircraft is impressive, but absolutely not new. In 1976, Hans-Ulrich Rudel, the most decorated German ground attack pilot, attended a conference in the United States as part of the development of the A-10 Thunderbolt II. Rudel's experience at destroying Soviet tanks from the air was considered relevant to a potential conflict between NATO and the Warsaw Pact. During World War II, Germany's answer to the growing presence of the heavily armored Soviet tanks on the Eastern Front was the grandpa of the A-10, the Henschel HS-129. The B-1 variant was equipped with an Mk-101 30mm autocannon, which was specifically designed to penetrate enemy armor. The Mk-101 Maschinenkanone is the designation of the 30mm autocannon used in German combat aircraft. Although accurate and powerful with a high muzzle velocity, it was very heavy with a low rate of fire, which limited its production. Developed in 1935 by Rheinmetall Borsig, this long-barreled automatic cannon was capable of firing 9 different types of ammunition, ranging from basic high explosive to armor-piercing rounds. Love diving deeper into military history? This video is supported by my YouTube members who get exclusive videos weekly, not available anywhere else for their kind support. You can join their ranks easily. Just hit the join button now to get the exclusive videos and much more. Thank you for supporting me. I couldn't be doing it without your help. If you want to know more about Germany's Panzer tactics, check out my ebook in the description. The locking system was strong, but the rate of fire was limited to a rather slow 250 rounds per minute, which limited its use against other aircraft. Powerful and accurate for its day, it was carried primarily on the Henschel HS-129 ground attack aircraft. Fed by a 10-round and later 30-round box magazine, the Mk-101 could penetrate 75mm of armor at 300 meters range. It provided the Henschel 129 B-1 with the ability to destroy the Soviet T-34 tanks and other armored vehicles from the air. From 1943 onwards, it was gradually replaced by the Mk-103 cannon. Compared to the Mk-101, it was faster, firing, and was originally intended to develop a higher muzzle velocity. Unlike the earlier cannon, the Mk-103 used a bed feed, allowing it to potentially carry a larger ammunition load. The original specification for the weapon called for it to fit inside the engine mounting of an aircraft. However, the new weapon was still too large and heavy to fit into the small-size fighters. Unless mounted on the aircraft's centerline, the asymmetric shock from the cannon's recoil tended to veer the aircraft off course. Basically, of the triangular section fuselage and the need to keep the airframe as small as possible, the cockpit of the HS-129 was very cramped. So cramped, in fact, that the Revi C-12 gun sight was mounted on the aircraft's nose outside of the cockpit. The entire nose section formed a welded armored shell 6 mm to 12 mm thick around the pilot, with toughened 75 mm thick glass in the canopy. The total weight of the nose armor was more than 1,000 kilograms. The larger pilots, like Bruno Meyer, one of the leading Henschel aces, could have a great deal of trouble in handling the aircraft in ground attacks, and a short control stick required a great deal of strength to move even in the modest maneuvers. Nevertheless, Meyer made more than 1,000 combat sorties. He destroyed more than 50 enemy tanks and survived the war. While the Henschel HS-129 B-1 was a pioneering aircraft in the role of tank busting, it suffered from significant limitations, including a low rate of fire from its cannon and weak engines. Its two French-built radial engines produced just 700 horsepower each, making it slow and cumbersome, especially under combat conditions. And there were other problematic factors as well. During late 1941, Adolf Galland, one of Germany's leading fighter aces, was appointed General der Jagdflieger to oversee fighter operations. But his portfolio also included ground attack formations. This specific type of mission did not particularly interest him, and it was not until a Luftwaffe restructure during autumn of 1943 that the ground attack units at last gained their own leadership. Throughout 1944, there was a steady depletion of number of available Henschels due to catastrophic attrition, fuel shortages, and lack of supplies. Then came the end of production during autumn of 1944. This was in line with the Luftwaffe's ending construction of several types in favor of jet-powered fighters to defend German airspace against Allied strategic bombers. The exact number of HS-129s completed remains contentious. These have variously put overall manufacture at just over 1,000 examples, or the recently more favored figure of just below 900 machines of all marks. It is important to note that during the war, more than 36,000 units of the Soviet Ilyushin Il-2 ground attack aircraft were produced, making it the single most produced military aircraft designed in aviation history. This aircraft played such a crucial role on the Eastern Front that when factories fell behind on deliveries, Joseph Stalin told the factory managers that the Il-2s were as essential to the Red Army as air and bread. What is beyond doubt is that there were simply never enough useful HS-129s on the front line. The fatal phasing out of production of this useful tactical machine, just when it was most needed during 1944, finally denuded Luftwaffe units of one of the best available ground attack aircraft to aid their increasingly difficult struggle against Soviet armored forces. Despite their shortcomings, the HS-129 proved its worth in tank-busting missions, often flying low and braving intense anti-aircraft fire to deliver its armor-piercing payload. Two of the most iconic examples of dedicated tank busters are the World War II era Henschel HS-129 B-1 and the modern A-10 Thunderbolt II. Despite the large differences in technology and tactics, both aircraft were built with the same purpose in mind: to destroy enemy tanks and armored vehicles with precision and devastating firepower. Nonetheless, both aircraft share a common legacy, striking fear into the hearts of enemy tank crews and proving their air power can be a game changer on the battlefield. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to support my channel, check out the PayPal donation link in the description or consider becoming a member. To make sure you don't miss my future work, subscribe to my channel please and press the bell notification button. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.